Hello, my lovely chows of the internet. It is I, Multi126789, other known as Multi-Man, and welcome back to another Unspoken Hidden podcast. Yeah, it's been a month. It's been a month already. So, when was the last time we uploaded one of these podcasts? Was it the day after August? No, I think we barely etched it in. We're barely etched it in on the 30th or the 31st, I forget. Like, I recorded it the same day and then uploaded it, just basically giving a rundown of everything that happened. But yeah, today we're going to be talking again. Honestly, I don't have a precise, title for this one. It's really weird because we'll probably come up with it at some point, but it's probably up on screen already. But I just wanted to chat. Just, seriously just sit down and chat for, a while. Okay? Because we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about things that I probably wouldn't have talked about before uh, me turning 27. Probably we'll talk about a lot of things that might just be a little bit needing of a censor warning, just in case it's too touchy of a subject for somebody who may be going through or having to deal with certain things. Don't worry, I will bring them up when they are relevant, and I will let you know and give you a couple of seconds, to just be able to figure stuff out. Also, I don't know what that slip was. I was like, why was I about to swear by accident? I don't know. I guess it's just, again, one of these parts of the things where I'm like, I just got back from work. So, just ate and relaxing. And I was like, I should probably do my podcast probably before the day before today. So, here we are. So I guess we should give a rundown for most of September and what's been happening with me. So we're back again, being consistent, doing streams, having fun, just making content actually for once, instead of just saying, I'm going to do it and then don't do it. So I've learned my lesson. We beat Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, as of this point of this podcast. I'm hoping by the next time I stream, which should be the Monday when this comes up, or the Tuesday, we're going to start the Spark the Electric Jester series, because holy moly, I want to play those games because I heard really good things about them, and now I finally have a PC to play them because they're not out on console yet, or ever. But I think that it would be fun to play some more platformers, because that is basically where my mindset is at currently with what I want to do. So that's what we are probably going to do in the next upcoming streams for the next couple of weeks, leading into both Mario Party Jamboree and also Sonic X Shadow Generations. I don't know how long each of the games are, by the way. I'm just saying this as a spitball because I don't want to accidentally put myself in a position where I don't know what I'm talking about, but sometimes that just ends up happening, and you can't do very much about that. But um, so other than that, what have I been doing? I've been trying to lose weight and look better. I know that comes out of left field, but yeah, I've been trying to exercise this entire month and last month and the month before that. I've just been consistently doing it ever since June. We might talk about that in a little bit. We might not. Because regardless, you move on, you move forward. But I've been exercising. People have been taking notice, trying to up not only my funny, but my looks, I'm trying to add my charisma back to my build that I apparently lost. Because, life happens. And sometimes when you get knocked down in life, it's really hard to get back up. I won't even lie. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Bro, I am surprised that I got up as quickly as I did. Because, I've only maybe loved or confessed my love to two out of the three people that I really, 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 really loved. Genuinely, I would have been dang, I would have loved to spend the rest of the future with these people, but they didn't feel the same way. And so back in June, that also happened with somebody I cared about. But, differences in ideologies, beliefs, and all this other stuff we couldn't work technically through. So I'm good now. Like, it took me about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think, to get out of the funk. And then I said, well, as you guys probably don't know, or probably do know, I don't really make a huge thing of it. Not because I'm embarrassed or anything, but yeah, I'm a Christian. I am a Baptist, and for the last couple of years, I've kind of lost my way a little bit. Not because of anything necessarily bad. It's more just the fact there's a lot of things that have been juggling on my mind, which today when I was at work and I was kind of just doing my thing that I usually do when I work 12 hours, kind of zoned out and just kind of did autopilot and then thought about stuff for myself. Um, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I ended up the way I did. But I don't want to talk about this heavy topic yet because there is other stuff that we did. So now after that, at work we had a person come in and teach us all about first aid. So I'm first aid for certified and forklift certified, both in the same year, by the way. Yeah, I was always forklift certified because of my job, but I had it renewed. So yeah, what can I say? I'm pretty impressive. um, and I've been kind of going to events, and kind of doing things outside of just playing video games, and I've been trying to socialize and make new bonds, try to meet new people, try to make people's lives more enriched and happy by, having just a conversation with them. Nothing major. Um, we had me and my two family members had a funny story that we'll probably talk about a little bit later as well. And the only other thing I guess I will talk about while I still have the gumption, the games of this year list is going to be wild. So I'll just give you a rundown right now. We have about 14 games that we have played and beaten that we're going to talk about for sure. And then there's still another 5 or 6 that I still need to wait either for release or that I'm going to figure out if I'm going to put on the list at all. Because again, I've played a... Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Steam is kind of evil because you could just end up one day only having 15 games on your library and then end up having almost 80 by the end of the year. What happened? Multi, are you okay? I'm like, listen, buddy. Listen, buddy, listen. If I didn't have to spend $80 per Nintendo game, I wouldn't have bought a bunch of stuff on Steam. That was like, wow, I bought 10 games for the same price as one Nintendo game? That's crazy. I should do that more often. And here we are now, me dreading making any content for the games of this year because I'm like, bro, I played so many, so I don't want to do it now because I have to sit down and do all of this. But, ladies and gentlemen and lovely chows of the internet, it turns out sometimes you just need to temper yourself and not push yourself past your limits. It turns out that taking your time thinking about a solution that makes sense, which is talk about the the cream of the crop of the games that you've played and you want to talk about, is probably more sensible than doing 60 mini parts or 60 mini reviews or 60 little talks about every game that you played. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. And to be honest, it's kind of awkward because surprisingly, a lot of the games that came out this year and last year are going to be added, but there's going to be a good chunk of games that also people probably have already played, already knew about, but I'm just bringing them up because, hey, this is my first time playing them and they didn't exist to me until I had a PC, so that's also lovely, I suppose. But yeah, so that's going to be started up soon as well. And now I guess, now that we got all the introductory stuff out of the way, what do we want to start with? I guess we can continue talking about the thing I was talking about before, about me and stuff that I was doing. Like, I was talking about, my whole philosophy for myself, even before I became a Christian and baptized back in 2015. I want to enrich the world and make it a better place because I know it is a hard enough life for all of us, not just for me, not just for you, but everybody you probably know in association too. It has probably been a really, really rough year, hearing nothing but negativity, nothing but, bad things happening and people doing bad things. Nothing but us all being put under the same financial strain and being pushed to our absolute limits in a lot of things, in a lot of ways, just this one year. And even though I'm still thinking about it and being like, bro, it really has been a year because most of it has been like, for me at least, the first 4 months were really good. Or the first, I think, 5 months were really good. But now we're suddenly going down. I was going down on an incline from June, July, and August. And we're slightly rising back up with September. Because, like I said, a lot of stuff has happened. Some of the stuff I'll keep confidential because whether or not the person or people in general are listening to this, I still would like to say that I'm gonna try to take a positive spin on things, positive spin on it. So see the silver lining. Just not dwell on the negative aspects of life because unfortunately, guys, one truth that you have to understand, which I understand now that I'm 27, now that I've lived almost all of this birthday year of me being 26, having to self reflect, having to actually sit down with myself and say, listen, buddy, if you want to have your life be better, stop telling yourself to not let it be better then. If you want to change something, you know what you gotta do. You gotta change it with your own hands. You're gonna have to face some fears, some self-conscious things that you don't want to, and you're gonna have to open your heart once again. By the way, that's also a reason why we played Sonic Adventure. Boom. Anyways, and sometimes you gotta live and learn. That's why we played Sonic Adventure 2. Boom. Anyways, I'm sorry. Nah, I'm not sorry, actually. I'm sorry that I lied about my apology when I knew what I was doing. But anyways, as we were discussing, I love and care about a lot of people. I don't make that a thing that I don't tell people because I literally, like in the past, I don't know, was it 5 or 6 years? It's been a long enough time. When you have an opportunity to tell people that you care about them, you really should. Because as I've had in the past 5 or 6 years, within my immediate family, I think I've lost 7 people. Again, I don't show it on content because I'm pretty good at regulating my emotions, understanding myself, understanding why I feel the way I do, and just work through it. Then I can go through it knowing that, hey, I'm going to feel bad, but eventually I'm going to get back on the high horse and I'm going to keep walking because, well, I mean, I guess you can't walk if you're on the high horse. What I'm basically trying to say is if you have your 2 legs, allow yourself to pick yourself off the ground and keep walking, bro. Even if you lose your legs, crawl. And if you can't do that, roll, bro. Sonic the Hedgehog can do it. You can too. I guess the way I'm just viewing life lately is just that, because I read a book last year. Do I have it right here right now? Hold up. I'll actually go ahead and do this. Well, still on the mic. I think it's right here. Ah. I was given this book by my current advisor for work called Men's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankly. I read this book, I think, it's not 2 years ago, because I think it was either in 2022 or in 2023. I'm pretty sure it was 2022. Because that's when I was having my big crash out moment during that year of doing the thing that all humans do and comparing yourself to others. When people tell you stuff that makes them happy, whether for me it was just people talking about the relationships and how they're going and how they're happy they were, you can't help but sometimes feel a little bit jealous and envious. And that is the thing I struggle with the most, because as somebody who really does want people to genuinely be happy, find things and find happiness in the world, you end up realizing that you easily get jealous of those things that you're still trying to help people achieve or help them to push forward to try to grab. Because, I think it's a little bit of a reflection of myself that I'm sad that I don't have those things. So it makes me more mad if somebody doesn't push for the thing that they want. And if it's something similar to what I want, then I would, of course, encourage them. But also, at the same time, you end up sometimes getting jealous or blindside yourself by saying that because you don't have this thing, that must mean you're doing something wrong. There's something wrong with you. You need to fix yourself. You're undesirable, whatever. All these negative things that I don't really care for now because I'm like 27 and I realize, no, sometimes the world's just bad. And sometimes people really just aren't ready to have those sorts of intimate relationships because they themselves know that they have plenty of stuff that they too need to work on and are scared to work on or probably feel distant towards. So, I'm just trying to think for myself, like, as we're talking about this right now, right? how do I word this? So basically, after reading this book, before we get too off track of what I was even talking about in the first place, in this book, it has a section called Tragic Optimist. Now, I don't know if you guys know what I know, but I'm going to tell you anyways. But, I have a personality type. Okay, that's crazy. I was going to pull it up. There we go. I have a personality type as an ENFJ, which is, I believe it's emotional. Actually, I could just click it, and it's probably. Nah, it didn't help. But anyways, the whole type, if you want to look it up, it's that type, the ENFJ, which I'm probably putting up on the screen. It's the protagonist type. Now, before you even say anything, surprisingly, as a protagonist type, you don't want to actually be the main character. You just want to be a person who helps other people find and achieve their dreams by trying to take initiative and trying to help people by being that person to bounce stuff off of so people can excel. Now, with that being said, though, sometimes you lose yourself in the sauce and also the unrealistic ideals of the world. Like, let's just say, for example, if the best case scenario could happen, isn't it better to try to work towards that best case scenario, regardless if it could work out or not? Even if there's a nigh zero possibility, isn't it worth fighting for that? But sometimes, as my personality type, you get too lost in that, and then you put yourself down when you don't reach the unreasonable expectation you set for yourself. This is something that I do quite often, and this is what I'm trying to work on, so we don't do it as often. That's probably why, for the past couple of months back in both July and August, even though I could have streamed or made content, I didn't as much because I was like, I just don't feel like I'm fit to making content. And I was even thinking about leaving YouTube. And I was like, why? And then I was like, well, I don't got a reason other than right now I feel really garbage and bad because, somebody I cared about, I admitted exactly how I felt about them. And it didn't work out. And then I was like, well, now there goes all my momentum I had since the beginning of this year, spending time with them, really getting close to them. And they made me feel like I was on top of the world. And because I was honest, it all came crumbling down. Needless to say, I still love this person, regardless. And if they're listening, they already know who they are. I don't need to say names or even allude to them. But, genuinely, regardless of any of our circumstances, I don't even hate them. The only thing I'm kind of worried about, and the only thing that does make me mad, is because, of course, I guess as a protagonist type 2, I'm very stubborn and very aloof to the idea that people don't want the best for other people or won't choose a selfish route, I choose to be selfless as much as possible because that's what I want to do and show into the world that we can still do, and not everybody's trying to take advantage of each other, so I try to practice that all the time. But there is a large majority of people, and I mean a large majority, who would rather just pretend like they are selfless but aren't. And that's sometimes boggles my mind because I'm like, don't they see that they're not being that? But then I'm like, oh yes, that's a part of my thing of me being a little bit judgmental. That's what the J in ENFJ stands for, judgment. I'm very judgment based, even though I don't try to be harsh. I'm still like, the choices you're making are affecting you in more ways than you think. And I'm trying to explain that to you, but now you're getting upset because you're thinking I'm just scalding you for the sake of scalding you, rather than just giving you a different perspective and leaving it at that. Because again, ultimately, everybody's choice is their own. I know that, and that's why, again, I am through the pain of grieving for the person that I admitted my feelings to and they didn't reciprocate. You just got to do that. And then, like I said, this is my third person that I actually wanted to vocalize that. And I mean, I've had crushes in people that I like, and then I was like, oh, maybe we can make that work out. And that hasn't worked either. Or even gotten to the stage where they would consider it. So, regardless, it doesn't bum me out as it used to. Because, again, I'm 27. 27 years of my life I have spent not having companionship. 27 years of my life, I've accepted the fact that if I don't have companionship, I can still keep moving forward. Because, hey, 27 years of my life, I've proven that, hey, even if I don't have somebody, it's not the end of the world. I can still find meaningful relationships in my platonic ones, in my friendships, in the random interactions I have with people You know, all of that stuff matters. Like I said, it's sometimes really hard to see, the apple orchard from the apple because you think that, oh yeah, only this one apple, this one bad moldy apple you picked off the apple tree is your entire existence. When I'm like, bro, you can just throw that away and like get another one. Or at least carve away the stuff that's mold and then use the other half, bro. It's not the end of the world. Bro, animals eat worse than this. So you don't have to complain and be sad that, oh, you thought it was going to be completely 100% great the whole time. And sometimes you hit a rocky bump in the road. Because that brings back to what I was trying to talk about before with, you know, the tragic optimist, where, sometimes in life you think that you hit your rock bottom, you hit your worst thing that ever happened to you, and then you don't feel like you can do anything else in life, and you feel completely stuck, and then eventually you find yourself happy again. And you're like, cool, I'm happy. I'm actually living life and being happy again. And you're like, oh, well, I'm glad I got through the worst part of my life, and now I never have to worry about being sad again. The end. Guys, that doesn't happen. I'm sorry. I just spoiled the ending of the book, but that doesn't happen. You're still going to hit moments in your life, whether it's big or minor. Don't strike the chord. I'm sorry, that was bad. Anyways, whether it's major, minor, it's tragic or it's just bound to happen, right? You're going to feel moments of being sad, even if you face some of the harshest parts of your life. And I think that's what I had the struggle with until I read that book that taught me a valuable lesson of I may be sad and depressed, and then I might be happy. But anything is temporary and I can lose it again. But it's up to me to then keep walking forward even if you lose it, because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and chows of the internet, I still am glad that I'm still here and I'm still putting up the good fight, because even though there is a bunch of things that I want and I do know that I need, I'm still at least trying to make the best out of what I have. Because again, if I get sad and depressed, eventually I know I'll laugh and smile again. Because that's how I've always worked. If things keep me down and keep me silent because I'm depressed and I don't want to spread that negativity, eventually I'll start laughing at the most mundane thing that I find funny, and then I'm back in it again. That's usually what happens with me now with depression. It's like, I find the outlets I know I use, which is either writing, singing, quite legitimately making YouTube content, or playing video games, or just talking with people, which I haven't done in a real long time, just sit down and just have a heart-to-heart with somebody lately. But, those are all very healthy things that you should do. And that's why we're talking right now and talking about this. So the next subject I wanted to talk about is something that has personally happened to me, and I'm going to admit it because it's been, 2 years now since it happened, but I guess I can talk about it now. But if you're very sensitive into this topic, this is going to be talking about getting blackmailed and another topic called sending soliciteds. So that's all I'll say. If you're listening to this, you don't know what that means, or if you don't want to be triggered by anything that I'm going to talk about, please skip only 5 minutes, because then should be back. Probably won't even be 5 minutes. I'll put a time up for when we're done. Because you know what? For the first time, I'm not going to be lazy when editing this, so I can help you guys, okay? Alright, cool. So I'm going to give you a moment of silence before I start talking about it. So I'll count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, in 2020, I met this person and I was talking to them online, and we were pretty cool. We were talking back and forth, and I thought I knew this person very well. And then one time, we went on a site to talk and hang out, and we did a video call, and we were, both adults, both consenting and doing whatever. And we were going to exchange ourselves over the internet. Little did I know, that person was not who they were, and was actually somebody trying to scam me and then put me into a bad position by taking my, my most vulnerable side of myself and using that for their exploit and gain. This is why right now I'm in a financial bind, or was, until I resolved it a couple of years ago. But, you know, it's one of those moments in your life where right now I'm like, when I think about all the things that are bad in my life and that I've done, I'm like, that one was like pretty bad because, again, it didn't just evolve me, it evolved how not only I would look to outsiders, but then everybody associated me with me. Because as you know from this year so far, and for certain people and individuals that have been a very big talking point almost this entire year for doing very bad acts, yeah, that made me very like, oh, even back then I was like, this is bad because I don't want other people to be affected by my actions, which at that point it was already too late, and they were, and I was getting extorted for quite a bit of money, so that was great. Um, Needless to say, we got through it, and I mean, playthroughs and everything happened as if they didn't happen back in 2022, because that's when it happened. We were actually just getting off of finishing, I think, Fire Emblem Engage. No, not Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Warrior 3 Hope. Thank you. There you go. But either way, like, genuinely speaking to me, I look back on that time and being like, wow, I feel kind of liberated that that happened though, because now I don't feel like anything is off the books. You know, like my body has been out, is out there now. Somebody has that, whatever. But now I'm like, what could I actually do that's really bad? I could give a few examples, but I don't need to. We've already have plenty of people this year who have that example. But anyways, all I'm saying is that after that happened, you know, a lot of things went through my mind of like, damn, why did it happen like that? Desperation, wanting for affection, a lot of other things that are very like trivial in the long scheme of things, and probably should have worried about my own online security, my safety, my, you know, privacy, and been like, no, I don't need that. That's fine. That's fine. We don't need to do that. But, you know, a moment of weakness, clouding of judgment, and thinking you can trust somebody, that happens. Needless to say, I'm not a distrusting person because of that experience. If anything, I think I learned how to trust people a lot better and be more questionative of people's motives and apparatuses, and take more notes of people and how they act when said certain phrases, things, or what they are trying to allude to. Because I try not to be one to beat around the bush anymore. Like, I will be honest and be upfront with a lot of things I want to ask and also want to say. So, because of that one tragic experience, out of plenty of others that I won't talk about because those are really too graphic to really talk about, right? Honestly, I made it on the other side pretty okay, considering, even mentally. It just was very exhausting for the rest of that year that happened, and along with other things, because I was just like, damn. I just feel like I wanted to be intimate with somebody, and then it turned into something that I shouldn't have. Lost a lot of resources, lost a lot of my own self-worth, a lot of things, really. Actually, it was really bad. But even still, thinking back 2 years from that point, I was like, well, it happened. I can't take back the past, but I moved forward, and somehow I'm still in a place where I have 500 subscribers. People still like watching my content. I meet new people who seem to like me and enjoy me enough to still have me around, even though sometimes we may argue and not agree with everything. I'm still able to treat them like a human being and have human decency, kindness, and belief and faith in people, which is something that a lot of people, after they experience a traumatic experience, they don't ever recover from that. And it's not like they can't, or eventually would. It's just that sometimes you get stuck in the thought of, I don't want to have that same thing of being vulnerable and being hurt happen, you know? But even at the end of the day, after all of that's being said, right? We're still here. We're still here. We're still kicking it. We're still doing good. So, if you're coming back from the little time skip I put on the screen, then welcome back. Um, we're going to move on from what the topic was because we're done with that. But, like, I guess we're going to talk about now, like, my ideals for going forward. Because whether it's YouTube or streaming or whatever else I'm doing, I kind of came to the consensus with myself that I'm really trying to iron in and iron down the fact that I really want to try to do anything that I can to help better this world or help people who are struggling or have ever gone through any scenarios like I have. Because it's like, I can't do, I'm not, a therapist or anything like that, a counselor or whatever. But I am just a regular dude who knows that bad times happen to people. So why not lend an ear or at least lend your heart for somebody, you know? You don't have to agree. Sometimes all you need to just do is listen to let people just get stuff off and so they don't have to bottle it up. Most of my life has literally just been I wish that I was able to talk to somebody to help resolve an issue I had because sometimes that would have just probably been the difference maker. But, like I said, past is the past, future is the future. We can still create our future because right now we still live in the present, and as long as we have the gift of the present, we always have a chance for a brighter future, So, like, one of the things that I really wanted to do, which I'm hoping that I actually start doing, I have a bunch of songs and poetry that I've been making over the past 1.5 decades, I guess. Because, yeah, I guess it would have started back in middle school or high school. Because that's when I started to realizing that I really liked creating music and song, or at least, I wouldn't say parodies, covers, I guess, is what you say for musical stuff, where you make your own interpretation of music with your own interpretation of lyrics. But needless to say, I've been wanting to do stuff with my other channel that I had for a while that I wanted to start uploading. The only reason I haven't done it is because of the brainworm in my head that says, would anybody care about this? Should I do this? It's not going to be professional, yada yada, so forth. But you know what, chows, my lovely chows of the internet, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this. Remember when I said any good content is good content? And if it gives people and gives the effect of positive, enlightenment, hope, joy, anything like that, and that could come with that, even if it's embarrassing for me, I should just do it. I used to do that back when I was younger with the Let's Try to Sing series that is on this main channel, which most of that stuff I think I will remaster and put on that other channel at some point. But it's not even like I don't even have any of these things that I've done and recorded and have already. It's just that I haven't uploaded them because I've always been like, I don't know if I'm ready to personally share that yet. But now I'm 27. I don't care anymore. I've been blackmailed. All this wonderful stuff that, you feel you've been betrayed, you've been backstabbed, you feel the hopelessness of despair. But on a positive spin, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here. My hands are up right now. My hands are up, but I'm still here. So even if nobody else believes in me or had faith in me, well, guess what? You didn't kill me, buddy. You better try harder next time. Is basically how I feel. And I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot to really kind of just digest when I'm sitting down and thinking about it. Because there is plenty of stuff that I'm like, would be mad or be upset with myself about if I was a few years younger and didn't have any of the knowledge I had now. But now I'm just like, it's whatever. If I find somebody to spend the rest of my life with, I do. If I don't, well, I already made my headcanon of I will just treat everybody like they are my family and like if they're younger than me, I'll treat them like they're just, I wouldn't say like children, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if I was to have a child, I'm going to pretend like you would be my child and give the advice that I would give to them, like I should have given to myself if I had the forethought to do so, If there's people older than me, my only goal is try to get as much information and try to get as much wisdom from people who are older than me and try to turn it into something that I can then pass down to other people in more simplified manners and states. I guess the long and the short of it is just that I guess the best thing about living is that once you experience stuff and gain enough experience with or exposure to stuff, you end up starting to be like, oh yeah, probably. Yeah, you know what? We made it through. We surpassed. Oh, I guess we found the title of the video, huh? Surpassed, we surpassed the version of ourselves that we didn't even know that we could, because to be able to surpass, you just need to accept that there's always potential to be further than what you are. Sure, you might not reach it immediately, but hey, eventually you will. one of my funnest, one of a few of my fun sayings that I'm going to say right now is one, you won't get it until you get it. That one is a very crucial one because anytime that any event happens in life, you don't get it until you experience it and then you understand why it's either good or bad. And then you're like, okay, now I understand. And my second favorite phrase I like to utter to myself sometimes, the best time to live life was yesterday, but the second best time is today. So, and for anybody who's listening and is struggling or finding themselves at a roadblock right now, I do hope that you take those words into consideration a lot too. Because listen, I'll tell you this right now, because I don't know if they can hear me. My mother is going back to school, and that's what I'm doing. I'm supporting my family, that what they want to do and their dream that they want to pursue, and I'm happy I'm doing that, honestly. Because for me, I've been helped by my parent for a very long time, and she's been, fighting the battle by herself while taking care of me and my other family members. So, it's time to give back a little bit. It's not the end of the world to me. And to be honest, honestly, it feels nice to still want to be needed. One of these things that I think I had a conceptual problem with, or an unhealthy obsession with, was validation in any sense of the word. Because again, I was not always the loud kid, and I was usually mostly quiet, and I usually kept to myself. Mostly because I just did not know how to emotionally explain how I felt about most situations, because even though I could feel emotions, I couldn't really, translate them into words for other people. I just kind of did the most broadest stroke and hoped that people understood. One of my best friends that I have, that we still talk on occasions, which I should be talking to more, but time zones and he lives a different life than I, it's hard. But, that's not an excuse to stop trying. Like I said before, that's not an excuse. Just remember, you can just slow it down and then continue right back where you are. Listen, it's better to slow down on whatever you like doing than just to stop it completely. Like I said, some things in life, if you like, you'll keep doing them. Just don't do them in large chunks if you don't have the time or the resources. But eventually get back. That's it. That's what I'm doing with YouTube. I was like, eventually, I knew I was coming back to YouTube, even though I wanted to, quote unquote, quit. But like, I can't quit what I know I love, bro. I've tried that too many times. Hasn't worked. So you guys are stuck with me until I turn 100 years old. So that's unlucky for you, or lucky for you, depending on if you like me. So there you go. Now, you would say this is a yapping session, because really, mostly I haven't stopped talking since I started. But, I think this is a healthy thing to do, and I think this is the longest one of these videos / podcasts that we've done since the original first one. Every time I think about it, I'm like, yo, I kind of got, like, less and less to talk about, but mostly I guess it's because after, I think, March or April, I started getting reclusive shelled because I got a lot of things going on and was spending a lot more time with people I care about. Of course. There are people I care about. But, like, I was kind of at the point where I was like, oh, do I have anything to really add or, like, really make for this sort of content? Obviously, you see me back and then talking about a lot of personal stuff. And, hey, at the end of the day, like I said, I trust you guys. I have faith in you guys. Like, genuinely speaking, even if somebody was to use any of the stuff that I talked about today on this podcast to me, I'd be like, yeah, I'd talk about it again. Like, I'm very open to the idea of talking about a lot of things now, just due to the fact I've experienced a lot of good and bad things. A lot of, positive, life-changing things and traumatic things. But, at the end of the day, the thing is that we just all are trying to live a life together. We're all not living it 100% perfectly, and we're definitely going to make mistakes. But hey, at least we're still trying, and that's the main thing. Trying is a very good thing to do, because hey, that's all we can do. But I guess we're coming to the end of the podcast. We're almost at 40 minutes on my recording, at least. So, like, on the September 28th, 2024, at 9:47 p.m., we are going to wrap this up. Again, thank you for listening to me ramble and talk about a whole bunch of stuff that you guys probably weren't privy to from me at all. And like I said, I'm glad that you guys are still here, and I'm glad you guys are still kicking it. I know that school has been probably tough. Also, COVID-19 has been spreading again because, of course, school, the beginning of seasons of being around people again, that tends to happen. But keep your guys' self safe, please. Keep your guys' self healthy. Again, you don't have to go to the gym every day to still make sure that your body and your mind is sound. Again, look up a few YouTube videos, do some light exercising, go out, get some fresh air, walk, do whatever you need to be able to keep allowing your brain and your body to be like, yes, we're not just surviving and doing fight or flight. We are actually living and realizing we can just enjoy the things like touching grass, going outside, breathing air, and being surrounded by or just watching and observing the world. Because honestly, to me, I think observing the world was one of the things that I learned skill-wise last year that I just realized I really liked. Because even if I'm not a part of everybody's life, I just would like to observe it, and wonder to myself positive thoughts about their lives, and hopefully most people are going through it swimmingly and nice. But yeah, I guess that's gonna be it, my lovely childs from the internet. Again, sorry for it being so deep, I'm sorry that we're like going into the aquatic mines like Knuckles and diving head first, but I'm very glad that you guys listened to me. And this time we're gonna end for real. I guess last thing I will mention, I probably won't be around for the initial drop of. Actually, I might be around for a little bit. But the weekend that Mario Party Jamboree comes out, I will be heading off to visit friends in the city. So, or that's the plan at least. So, we won't probably be able to stream it immediately that weekend. I might try to stream it the Thursday evening before I go off the Friday, and maybe even the Friday morning. But if we don't, please don't be mad, because, we're going to play it at some point. And again, Sonic X Shadow Generations, I'm going to buy that. We're going to play that. And I think that's going to be it for mostly the year. Like, there's a few more games that I have that I'm going to play at some point and actually do and finish before the end of the year. But, like, October is the last month that I think I'm actually buying anything new. Knock on my wooden desk, because maybe I'm lying there. But as of right now, I'm basically done. We're clearing the table, and then by the time November is done, I should be finished the big honking video for the end of the year, which hopefully won't be, I'm hoping it won't be longer than 2 hours or 3 hours, because man, I'm not gonna like if we go every single year now with these games of this year video literally going up an hour each one, and I'm like, nah bro, we can't do this. But yeah, thank you again, my lovely child on the internet. We're gonna end off now for real. No more stalling, no more jokes, no more games. Again, I appreciate you all, and again, take care of yourselves, seriously. I need you guys to know this. If you're younger than me, you gotta outlive me, bro. So you gotta wait at least 100 years, or I guess at this point it's 75 for me, or less. But anyways, that's gonna be it. We're done. So I've been Multi126789, other known as Multi-Man. Thank you, my lovely childs of the internet, for watching, and I will catch you, lovely childs of the internet, next time on the new horizon we will seek together. So ciao, until the next podcast.